convicted fellas out here doing better than the people with no fellas.
Shut me up. Shut me up. Shut me up.
But hold up, I got something to say.
I'm doing all this other shit. You going crazy, man.
Yo.
Got something to say.
Shut me up. Shut me up. Shut me up.
What we talking about in episode 4?
I said, I'm Mo, you're a prison lawyer, and I'm sitting here with my co-host,
Ron B in the middle.
and we are.
The voice of the voiceless.
I want to welcome back to I Got Something to Say, and I want to thank all our followers, our fans, individuals who've been supporting us since day one, our day ones. Keep supporting us. Keep checking us out on Instagram. Keep checking us out on YouTube. Subscribe. Share with your friends. And this platform that we're on is a platform that's allowing the voiceless to speak, giving them a voice, and we like to continue this happening, but you guys know how it works.
We want them to say what they want to say, when they want to say it, how they want to say it. And shout out to Tiffany's Barbershop, the best fades in St. Paul, Minnesota, on Asbury and University Avenue, St. Paul.
Decent. We got shirts coming out, y'all. Check out our shirts. We got shirts, sweatshirts. We got a bunch of stuff coming out. It's going to be available on our website. I Got Something to Say, but it's spelled a little bit different. But we have our link. If you look at the bottom down here, you'll see our link to our website on YouTube, on the tube. It's spelled a little bit different, but you'll be able to get to it. I'll put it on the back, on the bottom of the. It's going to be on the bottom of the YouTube channel, but it's also I'll run the
handles on the bottom of the screen.
I'll run the handles on the bottom of the screen so people can get to us and they can check out that if you like our gear. Thanks to Tiffany for hooking us up on that.
And shout out to the convicted felons doing better than the people with no felonies.
Don't say stuff like that. People gonna get mad.
Shout out to the convicted felons doing better.
People gonna get mad.
Shout out to the convicted felons.
We ain't supposed to get out and do better than folks out. They got 10-year head start. 10-year head start.
10-year head start.
10-year head start.
And I'm still doing better.
You know what I feel? You know what I figured out? These cats don't know how to make money. They don't. I personally don't even think they want to make money nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to get out and hustle and make money. I don't mean hustling, and the problem with the hustling side of things is individuals believe that hustle is straight from the streets.
No, individual you take that strange street mentality and turn it into a business mentality.
But the thing about it is every street hustler is a business opportunist. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He could take something out and make something out of nothing. It's not just a song. A lot of you guys think that's just a song. So the song's for real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could take dust. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Get out there, go to Alaska and sell motherfucking snow to a motherfucking Eskimo. You know what I'm saying? That's what hustling is all about. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand that. And that's the, so you're going to make it anywhere, right? That's what you're saying.
Anywhere.
I can drop you in the motherfucking desert.
Anywhere in the world.
Drop you in the motherfucking desert.
Drop me off in the lines in Africa. I'm going to make it.
And that's what I'm saying. I want to say thank you. I want to say keep subscribing. I want to say look out for us. I'm going to say we coming strong. They don't want to hear what we got to say. They want us talking about rappers and cars and who got the fattest ass and, and all this other dumbass shit. And we're trying to make people aware about this criminal injustice system.
Right.
Criminal injustice system.
There's a lot of injustice in that system.
Well, we just having a conversation outside when I was smoking my cigar about sovereignty and about what Baby Crip came and talked about. He was talking about specifically the knowledge of the contractual, you're being contracted by the state or being not understanding the law, not understanding how the law operates and how to operate. To me, what I got from Baby Crip, his episode's still coming up. I haven't put his episode up.
A cow had to die to get that bill, and you don't give a damn about that cow's life.
I don't.
As long as you get the go. See, in our criminal justice system, guess what they take? Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. Except as punishment for a crime whereof a party should have been duly convicted. Meaning, the The process in which they're going to turn people into slaves is through the criminal justice system.
Correct. The process in which they're going to turn people into slaves.
It's the criminal justice
system. It's a system. It's an institution.
Because you have to look, when we look at the whole concept of the slave trade, when you see the concept of the slave trade, then you start realizing how this stuff works. It's really
What is that? So be one of the further episodes. I'm really trying to get someone on sovereignty to come in to have a counter argument to Baby Crip's argument.
We got somebody lined up.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to get them together, right? We want to first have that individual demonstrate his understanding of sovereignty, give him a platform, give him to talk, give him like same way we give to Baby, Mr. Crawford.
Right.
Give him the same platform, and then bring them both together and have them break it down.
I got somebody for you.
You know what I'm saying?
I got somebody for you.
So I got something to say. Is where like you say, we are the voice of the voiceless. We are the voice of the voiceless. And conversations like this is not being had on Joe Rogan's show. It's not getting had on Mouthful of Game. It's not getting had on wherever the hell else motherfucking people watch garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's getting handled here because we believe those conversations aren't being had, and we think it's an opportunity.
They're very relevant.
They're relevant. They're super relevant.
They're very relevant.
They're super relevant. So, you were basically saying about that sovereignty argument. Your feelings was that the sovereignty argument is a solid argument.
Well,
explain to me what sovereignty is.
Well, when you were born, your mom in the United States of America is a corporation. When you were born, your mom and dad signed you into the corporation by accepting that Social Security number and signing that birth certificate.
I understand that.
And, well, the gist of it is this. It's like you're of age now and you know what's going on. You're awake. So, some people might want to stay in a contract with the United States of America. Some people might not want to.
I would want to stay. I would step one right now. When you say a contract with the United States, I'll be like, okay, why wouldn't I want to get out of the contract with the United States? Everything's been. I mean, they're taking care of me. I'm fucking white women.
They fucking over you.
How you figure
send you to prison for a crime that's not a crime?
Yeah, but the thing about it is that I've seen a lot of cats once they get into the joint, they pick up the sovereignty argument. I had a cat that was showing me the law. And he was showing me, because sovereignty, you have to fall back on all the
UCC filings and all that.
The UCC filing, but also you have to understand, like, Black's law. Like, they speak out of Black's law. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, you got to understand this term and what this term means, and blah, 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 blah. The problem I have with it is, like, the guy who's showing me...
Let me ask you a question. When you went to school, how did they teach you how to write your name?
It starts from handwriting. They showed me that they had the
alphabet.
They had a book that back in the days when I was coming up, they had a handwriting book. They don't know about cursive.
Right.
So certain things
I ain't talking about cursive. I'm talking about handwriting. How do you print your name?
They show you a letter A, and you copy A, and that's that thing back in the day too. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about deeper than that. I'm talking about. When you look at court documents and billing statements and stuff like that, your name is in all capital letters.
Yeah. That's when we're going back to Baby Crip now.
Okay. The reason why your name is in all capital letters is because you're part of that corporation.
Right.
You're part of the corporate United States.
And you would see when Baby Crip
was here. But they didn't teach you how to write that.
You would see when Baby Crip was here, and you heard when I said that shit. He's like, man, fuck that shit. You stupid. He basically was like, that don't mean shit.
Why?
Baby Crip. But I'm just saying, when he was here.
So if it don't mean nothing, why they doing it? Why did they teach you in school to write your first letter capital and then the next letters lowercase, then your next name, first letter capital, and so on and forth.
That's the correct way. That's
the correct way they teach you in school.
That's the correct way to.
So why are they doing otherwise?
When you go, you explain yourself. You're talking about a court document. I'm talking
about brown in all capital letters, right? Okay, I'm talking about more than the court document. I'm talking about everything that you get from an insurance company, Excel energy bill, a court document, anything you get that's part of a corporation.
I was given the knowledge based on a court document. When you receive your court document, it has your name in all caps.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, so my conversation.
Why?
But my deal is I've been told why, but I've never done the research to figure out why. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
People sit, like, what I'm getting at is, like, I had a guy that was showing me the law, and I was picking up the sovereignty. He had this book that gave, like you were saying, you were talking about Lionel.
I had a book called Cracking the Code.
Not the book Cracking the Code, but it had a book with like it was almost like a catalog, and it showed all these different things you could order based on sovereignty, and he was gonna do when he get out. So he got out before me, and when I went down to Faribault, he was back in jail. And he was back in prison. I was like, "What happened to the sovereignty?
You can file wrong.
What happened to
you
the?
can file wrong.
What happened to the sovereignty argument and all this other stuff? Because he was deep in the sovereignty. He had all the books. He was writing things, fighting motions, the whole deal like that. So when I saw him come back to prison, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it does not work the way it's supposed to work. But besides that, I'm not going to argue whether it's right or it's wrong. I just figure like we bring the people who are supposed to be the experts here and let them argue it because they know better than we know. Because we got
an argument and then we got an opposing argument. We got two people. I got somebody.
We want them to bring the argument because if they feel like their expertise in it, then we can sit here and say, then I can be educated on. I still want to do my research, but
I'm not trying to lean nobody either way.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not trying
to. I want people to understand that everything that we think is right in America,
we know right. We by just knowledge of self, understanding who we are as individuals, and understanding what the Negro is in the United States and what a white person is in the United States and how they play these games. We understand that it's all false. But the thing about it is, like when we had Mr. Crawford here and he was talking and he was, and I was like, I tried to bring up the sovereignty argument. He shot it down.
You talking to Mr. Crawford that's in all capital letters.
I'm just saying when he was here, he's the one that slapped the ID. He slapped the ID.
He's still asleep.
But the thing about it, he makes a good argument though. I'm not like the same way if a dude came in here, bro came up in here and he started hitting with the sovereignty argument. I'm never gonna dispute what a motherfucker believe. If he believe in it and it's his truth, right? I'm not gonna say argue with him about it. I'm just gonna listen to what he got to say.
He need to wake up.
I'm gonna listen to what he got to say.
He need to wake up
and go from there. We bring Mr. Crawford back. We can bring whoever you want back, and we can demonstrate on this conversation.
You don't do no name dropping. You don't do no name dropping until I get that person here.
You
feel
know,
like
I'm saying,
drop his name. He can drop his name.
I'm saying.
But I got somebody coming.
That's fine. I'm saying when he comes back, when he comes to this platform, gets on this platform, I got something to say. Gonna give him the opportunity to explain to us. So young brothers who go to the joint, prior to going to the joint, they've already reversed them, right? And they understand. My situation is this. I don't care nothing about sovereignty. I don't care nothing about anything. What I'm thinking is I think the whole deal is extracting yourself from this country. Now people say, I'm stupid. Oh, he's dumb. Why would you leave this country? Why would I stay here? If everything you say is correct. Everything you say, this country's got me on a contractual obligation. But this country's set up to use me as a Negro. You use all my resources as a Negro. They want me to identify with an African American. What the fuck is an African American? What is it? Something they made up. Like they made up black, like they made up white, like they make up everything. And I understand those arguments. All that stuff makes sense to me. My whole deal is after I came to all my knowledge was I don't want to be a sovereign. I want to sit here with Mr. Crawford and his argument. I just feel like, you know what?
So what do you want to be?
I want to lead this country.
What's the alternative?
Lead this country. This country has no matter what your conversation is, no matter how far away a sovereign feels he is from this country, he still lives in this country. People can do whatever the fuck they want to do. You can walk in your house and blow your motherfucking brains out because you live in this country. This is their country.
You don't think they could do that anywhere?
They can do that anywhere. I'd rather be in a country where I can have a gun and protect myself.
Right.
Here,
because as a convicted felon,
you can't have a gun. You can't have your gun. I can't say this is private property. Get your fucking ass off my property.
I don't get that. That's another thing.
I'm saying that's why you ask me a question. I'm answering it.
Yeah.
Why I'm leaving this country because I don't care. I feel like if I become a sovereign and I'm in this country, I still can't have no pistol.
I feel like if I paid my dues, did my time, did everything they wanted me to do right, and they tell me that all my rights is restored. I think and all my rights restored.
It should be all your rights restored. So that's the.
I got a letter in the mail that says my rights been restored, but it's only my voting rights.
Yeah, you can't own no gun.
I can't own
no
gun.
pistol. You still got to deal with your criminal history. Still, and I did some research on that because I wanted to bring that conversation to I Got Something to Say. Again, I want to thank everybody. I want to welcome everybody back. Those who stepped away for a second and came back, I want to welcome you back. I want to thank you for supporting, subscribing.
Stay tuned in.
You know what I'm saying? We're trying to bring this. We're basically hitting this sovereignty argument, but I also wanted to talk about the background argument because I got hit by Sean. He hit me up. He asked me was I still interested in working for Target. So now I'm boycotting Target because Target doesn't hire felons because Sean right now is a seasonal worker. But I told Sean, I said, Sean, listen, when you become a permanent worker at this company, Target, then let me know.
You remember I used to work for the Metrodome?
Yeah.
And they were felony friendly. Well, they built that new stadium over there, that
US Bank.
US Bank Field over there.
They got Target Field, which is for the Gophers. US Bank Stadium is for the Vikings. You used to work.
Right. I used to work at the Metrodome when the Vikings, the Gophers, and the Twins played in the same stadium.
Oh, okay.
They all played in the same stadium. Okay. And then afterwards, they built these other
three different stadiums.
Yeah, they built 3 different stadiums. So
taxpayer dollars that we have to pay to go participate in.
But anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is I was able to work for the company that the Metrodome, when they had the company there, I was able to work there.
Who was that? Airmark?
No, it's called Center Plate. Center Plate is felony friendly. And
Airmark's not.
They let me work there. Well, before I got out, I still been in contact with guys that still work at the US Bank Stadium and Target Field. And they talked to me, and I told them, I said, man, I want to come work with y'all again when I get out. They said, no, you can't come work with us, bro. I said, why? He said, because they're not hiring convicted felons here. They're not felony friendly.
They play that same game that they're playing at Target.
Yeah.
When you can be a seasonal.
That's the point I'm trying to make. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I got a phone call from this lady that I know at a temp agency.
Yeah, that's the game.
And she said, do you want to work the Vikings game? I said, no, I don't want to work at no Vikings game because they're not felony friendly. She said, yes, they are. I said, no, they're not. I said, I can come work through your temp agency, but they will never hire me on.
Right.
Because I know people that work inside there.
Right.
That's telling me that I'm never going to be able to work there.
And so that brings me to a whole nother just of conversations. So when you were in the joint, you know every day that Vikings play, if you were in the state joint, but maybe in Florida it might be different. Everybody get around the table, around the TV, they want to watch the football game. That sort of bothered me because these individuals sit up here and argue and fight and bet over the football games, and these dudes on the football field don't give no 2 fucks about you.
No, they don't care about
you can't get a goddamn job when you get out. But you want to sit here and argue about who the best running back, who the best quarterback, who this, who that. Like, who gives a fuck about that shit? You might want to find out who hire felons, because when your ass get out, you ain't going to have no fucking job. These motherfuckers making millions of dollars. They get 2 fucks about your goofy
They don't care
ass.
about getting a job work.
They don't care. They not advocating for you.
And part of it, I get it, because some people are felonies. Felonies are worse than other people's felonies.
Yeah,
I get it.
They should be tiered out, though. It should be tiered out.
I get that.
It should be tiered out. Now, I understand if you have a crime against a person, maybe you shouldn't be in a place where they have a bunch of people. I understand that, but why can't you work in a... Because you know that stadium is huge.
Right.
They got a basement, and beyond the basement...
It's state of the art. They got cameras everywhere.
But I'm saying, the one thing you do is unload fucking trucks.
Right.
You never come in contact with nobody.
Right.
That stadium is huge.
Right.
So why can't you work in a warehouse?
Exactly. They got a job for you. Why can't you be a janitor there? Why
can't
you be a janitor there? Why can't you be a concession stand worker? Why can't you clean up the stands, the seats and stuff?
A seasonal worker coming in, we need your help.
Yeah, right when we need you, when nobody else wants to work.
Yeah, nobody wants to work.
And we're gonna let the temp agency dip into your money.
Dip all the way into your money.
Because they probably they probably paying you.
You don't get no benefits.
They probably paying you $20 an hour, but the temp agency taking $4 or $5.
Yeah, you getting $14, $15.
Yeah.
Plus you ain't getting no insurance. Plus you better be there. Plus they treat you like shit.
No benefit.
Because I worked through a temp service when I first got out. Was looking for a job just so I could do something to get out the. They had me at the workhouse at the time. Just to get out the workhouse on Sundays, I picked up a little temp job working at the US Bank.
And shout out the Platinum staffing out there in Brooklyn Park. I'm gonna tell you something. The lady, no, Platinum Staffing.
I went to Platinum Staffing.
Staffing is
I went to
good.
Platinum
I
Staffing.
got an argument.
No, I got
an argument against.
Because the girl was the black girl working there.
The black girl was working there.
She's from the Heights.
She's
from
Chicago.
Chicago. You know what she did to me?
What she do?
I called her up on the phone. This is personal. So my wife lived right down the street from there. Platinum Staffing. My house is right down the street from it. I didn't know that. I didn't know because it was making me take a bus. So I took a bus all the way to Brooklyn Park, and the bus because Brooklyn Park is like it's the suburbs. The bus don't run down 85th.
Right.
So I had to walk from 85th because I don't have my license. Right. I had to walk from 85th all the way down to where Platinum Staffing was. So I was like on Zane. So I had to work from Zane all the way down to like I think it's a Noble. So it's a good 2-3 blocks of walking, but it's still long when and when you're on a time crunch, because I'm on ISR at the time. So I get down there, I walk down there, I talk to the lady on the phone first because one of my guys was working there. He's like, go to Platinum Staffing, they'll staff.
I'm gonna have the name drop from Platinum Staffing.
He was a felon. He was like, man, she's from the Heights, she's cool and all this other stuff. And I'm gonna tell you I know what happened, but I'm gonna tell you how they played me. So I take a bus, I get up early from Anoka County all the way out there. It takes 3 hours to get down. It's something to take me. So I finally get there. I get in there, walk in, and she was like, she's like, you got to fill out an application. Cool. She's like, I was like, do you have felons? She's like, we don't have felons. That's what the lady told me. So the black chick working there, I don't forget her name, but she's from the Heights. I'm like, you don't work. They hired my buddy. He just got out, and he's telling me to go get the job. He's like, no, we don't have felons. I'm like, you don't have felons? He's like, no, we don't have felons. I had just been out for less than a year. And she's like, well, you got to be out for more than a year for us to hire you. She told me on everything I love, yo. So she telling me that I'm hot because I just saw. I'm like,
that's black on black crime.
I'm just saying, you don't have felons. She's like, no. She's like, we don't have felons. You ain't been out long enough. We're not willing to take the risk. I think what happened was because I had vehicles, but I hadn't had my license, so I got off on a bus. So she must, in her mind, be like, he don't have reliable transportation. Yeah, he don't have reliable transportation. Because I didn't pull up no vehicle. She's like, on top of him being a felon, he don't have reliable transportation. We might not.
Yeah, she judged you.
She's judging me.
Yeah.
There's nobody else to. But the white female came in. She's like, no, we don't have felons. Blah blah.
Little bitty white lady.
I don't remember how the white female looked. I just remember the black female because it was kind of messed up because she was from the Heights. I'm from the Heights. My buddy from East Heights, not Chicago Heights. East Heights.
Where you from?
From where? From my. I probably know her family.
Right.
So she sent me off. She spun me off. It was the best thing that happened for me, but she still spun me off because it gave me resolve. But that's my deal with Platinum Staffing. Bullshit ass.
But hold on, I had a totally different experience with them.
But how long had you been out though?
I hadn't been out.
How long you
2
been
weeks.
out?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm in the halfway house. 2 weeks. I'm in the halfway house. I get to Platinum Staffing. I get on the computer and fill out all the paperwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the lady said, when can you start? I got something for you. It was at a factory, one of them slave factories they got where you just sit there and stand on your feet and stuff like that. Well, she said, and then they asked the questions about the convictions and stuff like that. I told her, I was forthright with her, but I've been blessed. For some strange reason, my background checks have been coming back nothing. I think it's something to do with the federal system, though. The federal system, it hides your stuff somehow, some kind of way.
Well, I did some research on that too, so whatever.
So anyway, but I told her that I was in the halfway house. I'm out on work release. I'm at the halfway house, so I'm under certain rules and stuff like that. She said, okay, don't worry about it. She's like, we're gonna do a background check, and she did a background check, and she put me in the job. Right, I was 2 weeks out the halfway house. She put me in the job. The lady named Veda. I'm gonna break my rules about name dropping this time because Veda was good people at Platinum Staffing. On top of that, this is what she did because I got out during COVID. Well, during COVID, it's hard you can't go into the Social Security office and you got to get an appointment and stuff like that, or you got to mail in your driver's license or mail in your ID to get your Social Security card. It takes a long time to get Social Security. She not only helped me get a job knowing that I was a convicted felon, she let me start working without even having my Social Security card yet. I didn't even go through the channels to get my Social Security card. I knew I had a Social Security card down in Florida at my family house. And I called my people every day, hounding them, my mom and everybody, hounding them, telling them to find my Social Security card. It's here. It's with all this paperwork. They finally found it and sent it to me probably a month into the job. And I was still working. I went in and gave Veda the copy of my Social Security card and everything, and I worked there. And she the one who called me the other day about working at the US Bank Stadium. And I turned her down. I was like, no, they're not felony friendly. They're never gonna hire me on. Plus, I'm happy where I'm working at right now.
Well, and I'm just saying that as a felon, these are the situations we deal with. Totally different situation. I'm two
convicted felons, two brothers went to the same agency, had two totally different experiences.
And I'm from the fucking Heights.
And you from where she?
I'm from.
So you felt entitled. I
felt as though when I walked through the door, her black ass was to give me a fucking job on everything, on the strength, knowing where she come from, knowing that raggedy ass fucking town, East Heights. For where she from?
She know the struggle.
She know the struggle. And I'm telling you, I either grew up with somebody. She knows.
So you had a situation where a black woman discriminated against you and judged you from where you from. But I had a situation,
and I think,
I had a situation where the white woman helped me at the same agency.
But I don't think it's fair any way you look at it. However you look at it, it is what it is. I just think like based on just needing a job. And these temporary agencies, like you say, taking advantage of us.
Just based on her knowing the struggle she was supposed to help.
I'm saying based on me being a felon and willing to work and willing to be at work on time, willing to walk my black ass 3, 4, 5 blocks. And okay, but my situation was this too. So I go back. So I'm petrified. Because I knew it took me 3 hours to get there. I'm hoping I get the job. Don't get the job. Pissed off now. Get up to.
And you was on ISR.
I'm on ISR. So I'm trying to head back to the.
So everything on the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to head back. So I don't have no cell phone at the time because I refused to get a cell phone. So I ended up running into a guy I knew a long time ago used to cut my hair. I was like, man, I begged him. I didn't beg him, but he's like, it was so fortunate he ran into him. He let me use the cell phone. I called my wife up. She picked up. Hey, you got to come get me. You got to get me back to. And luckily, she was at the house at the time. Remember, she's right up the street from me.
Right.
She picks me up and drops me off at the workhouse. But if she didn't pick me up, I'll probably be back in the joint right now.
Right.
Because there was no way, based on those buses, that I was going to make it back.
That you was going to make it back in the time
that they was given.
That they gave you. How much time did they give you?
Hey, listen, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I left that place because you know it takes a while. So I didn't. Me thinking.
No, I'm telling you how much time.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm trying to break it down to you because people don't think I'm fucking crazy. So when I left out of Anoka County, say I left out of Anoka County about 10 o'clock. Takes 3.5 hours to get there.
Not only like a 20-minute drive from Anoka.
It takes 3.5 hours on a bus.
Right.
To get there.
It's a 20-minute drive
because you have to go all the way downtown from Anoka. You have to go all the way downtown. It doesn't go. There's no bus that runs from Anoka to Brooklyn Park.
Right.
So I had to go all the way downtown and take a bus back to Brooklyn Park, and then I had to. But every time you take a bus, you have to wait. I have to wait for a bus that goes over into that 85th area because the bus only goes to that terminal by the mall. So now you got to wait an hour for the bus to show up. The bus shows up, and then I had to figure out which bus because remember I just told you the bus doesn't run to the 85th. It doesn't. It runs close to where that staffing is. So I had to take another bus to another terminal. So I went from the terminal everybody knows, the one over by the mall, took me to the Scarlet terminal, one over by Cub Food, over there by the old TJ Maxx. I had to wait for a car. That's the Hennepin Tech bus, college bus. I waited for that bus. That bus took me to 85th, and then I walked. Walking took me like 30 minutes. Right. Eventually get there, it's like maybe 2 o'clock.
So how much time you got left at this point to get back?
I got 2.5 hours to get back.
And you just took 3.5 hours. You wasn't gonna make it. You was gonna be back in prison.
I had 2.5, and I had no cell phone to call them. Yeah. I'm at the workhouse, so I don't have no call.
So you couldn't call them from Platinum and tell them, say, look, I'm running late?
I could have called them from Platinum, but all my mind said it was like, I'm thinking I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to get a job, and I'm not thinking like, man, you
didn't want to let them know your situation.
The only option I'm at a job interview, trying to get a job, calling my PO, telling him, hey, can I use your phone to call my PO because I ain't gonna make it back.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't really. So I called my wife. I ended up calling my wife. She got me back though.
And how many years ago was this?
This was when I first I got out the second time. So that was 2018.
See, my experience with them was 2 years after that, in 2020.
2018.
Yeah, my experience was in 2020. So like, I mean, they obviously changed some.
My buddy was
policies
my
or something.
my guy. He not from the Heights, but we you know so everything good. My buddy he had a job from them. He was from the military, so he had everything set up. He's like, man, Joe, just go talk to a girl. She's from your crib.
He was from the military, but he had been to prison.
Yeah, he was just like saying he had got out of Faribault, he had been out, and he was working. The reason he brought it up, he's like, well, you can go to this place. They hire vets. Go into this place, and they're gonna send you to. They're gonna send because they need people, man. They're hiring. He's like, just go through this temp service. It's gonna send you to this place where I'm working at currently, and it's sweet.
I'm gonna tell you another experience I had with Platinum Staffing. I got into this discrimination thing at the second job that they got me out there. I ain't gonna name drop this company because the company's a good company. They just got a bad guy working for them.
Just bring the name drop the guy.
But no, I ain't gonna do that. That's just. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I just want people to stay woke and be aware that there's people out there like that. But anyway, this company that I was working for, they had a policy that you can't wear baseball caps on the floor while you're working.
What you
wear a skull cap?
What you doing?
I was a brazier. I'm brazing these parts. These.
Oh, so you welding? So brazing is that you're welding, but you're not welding shit.
No.
You just
heating up a little heating element and let it mold to another piece. Put a little solder on it.
Yeah,
you know
it's not so much welding. It's brazing.
It's brazing.
It's like you would braze if you were cooking up copper piping for a refrigerator.
Right. It was you know the thing that you got to put on your cars in Minnesota to keep the car warm in the
you're talking about those
the little heating elements that you plug it up. Yeah, that's what it was. It was making those for all types of cars, every kind of car you can name. So I'm out here and I got my hat on the floor. The first hat I got on. You good. The first hat I got on is like it's a snapback. Nobody never says anything about it. It's these other white guys walking around. I don't mean to bring race into these guys. I'm not one to pull the race card. I've never pulled a race card unless I see it, unless it's plain and simple.
Facts is facts.
So anyway, it's these older white guys that have been working for the company for 20, 30 years. Yeah. They walk around with their snapbacks on. You know, it's a difference between the way a white guy wear a hat and a black guy wear a hat. Because a white guy, his hat got sentimental value. It's all mushed up. He had it for 20, 30 years, as long as he's been working for the company and stuff like that. It's bent like this and stuff like that. A black guy wears a hat, it's clean, brand new, you know, and it's on top of his head the right way. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got no bends or nothing in it. Ain't no grease stains in it or nothing like that. So I'm wearing my hat, my snapback. Nobody says anything to me. But I come to work with my twins hat on. After I've been working there for about 2 months, I come to work with my twins hat on. My hat clean, you know, I'm wearing it on top of my head. Nobody say nothing. It's a Hispanic guy with one of these old hats on. He got his baseball cap on backwards. Nobody says nothing to him. All of a sudden, this guy named, we're going to say Jay. We're just going to say Jay. He walks up to me. And he says, no, he don't walk up to me. He walk up to my supervisor and say, you know, he can't be wearing that hat on the floor. So when I come back from my smoke break, my supervisor tell me, he said, you got to take that hat off. Because you can't, they got no baseball hat policy. I said, okay. So I go back over there and I keep brazing. And I'm seeing these white guys walk past me with their snapbacks on and stuff like that. They baseball hats on. So when I get a chance, when I get a break, I go and I tell my supervisor, I say, what's the difference in my baseball hat and their baseball hat? Besides that they're white, older men, and I'm a black, younger man. He said, you know what? It ain't no difference. And I'm going to say something to Jay about that. I said, okay. I said, no. I said, don't say nothing to him. I said, do me a favor. Don't say nothing to him. I said, because I'm a temp here. If you say something to him about that, he could say, you know what? He right. We don't need his black ass. I'm trying to get hired on at this point. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want that to happen. I like the amount of money that I'm getting here. And at the present time, it was nothing else in the future for me. I wasn't planning on getting another job at that point in time. So fast forward another like 2 weeks, I go outside to smoke and I put my hat on, and I forget when I come back on the floor and I got my hat on. It's like he was hiding, waiting around the corner from me, waiting, knowing I was gonna have that hat on coming around that corner. He jumped out on me. He said, "Hey, did they tell you can't wear that hat on the floor?" I said, "You know what, Jay? I'm sorry, my fault. I forgot. I took the hat off, put it in the drawer." Then fast forward another 2 weeks. I got my hat on again. I'm sitting down. A Hispanic dude right there next to me with his hat on backwards. These white dudes walking by with their hats on. At this time, where I work at now, I'm already getting hired. I done gave them their 2 week notice already. I got about 4 days left on the 2 week notice. And he come up to me and he say something about my hat. I looked at him just like, I swear to God, this happened. There's no exaggeration. I looked at him. I said, "Jim, fuck you and your hat policy." I said, "You don't see this man over here with his hat on? You ain't saying nothing to him. And you said something to me several times." I said, "See these white guys walking around with their hat?" I said, "What, you not saying that to them because you scared they're going to leave the company? They've been working here 30 years, 20, 30 years, and you scared they're going to leave and you're going to have to replace them?" I said, "Why you don't say nothing to them? They walking on the floor with their hat on, but you don't say." I said, "There's other people around here with a hat on besides a nigga." He said, "What?" I said, "It's other people on this floor with a hat on besides this nigga right here." He said, "Well, I would never. I don't discriminate. I don't give a fuck." I said, "You might not be." I said, "But what does it look like?" "No, you ain't saying nothing to nobody but me." Yeah. I said, "What does it look like?" Just like that. And I walked off the job that day. I was already working at the other job. The halfway house didn't even know I was working at the other job.
Yeah. That's just. I mean, but that goes right back to Platinum Staffing and my experience with yours.
But hold on. This is what Platinum Staffing did. They called Platinum Staffing and said they didn't want me to come back. You know what Platinum Staffing said? Hold on. That man should have been hired on already. He's been working there long enough for y'all to hire him on. Y'all already been asking questions about hiring him on. We're not going to let y'all fire him like that. They called me and said they can't do you like that. They said, if you want to go back, you can go back. They said, what happened? What happened? Because the only thing we got is they said something about a hat issue. That's all they said. So I told them the whole story. They said, you should have called us and told us when it first happened, and we'd have called HR over there and talked to them about it, because that's the issue right there. They said, if you want to go back and work there, you can go back there and work there. They can't just let you go like that. I said, no, I'm cool. I got another job. I'm straight.
But like I said, it's just... It's just like I said, my dealings with Platinum Staffing, your dealing with Staffing, totally different. To back it up and give it some context, it's being a felon and having everybody else control your self-determination. You know what I'm saying? They control this dude, you know, even though you were a temp, but the way you come into the workforce as a temp, opposed to being a hire on, gives them the opportunity. So you have to outperform everybody. Get your job. Keep your job. To even get considered as to get the benefits for your job.
Bite your tongue and
all types of shit. Be on time. Better not be late. Better be back. Better be back on break.
You better not question me while I'm questioning you about this hat.
Exactly. And the thing about it is that, you know, so I never really had, once I got to a facility and worked, I never really had any issues with the people, because I'd seen the jail end pretty well. And that situation right there would never have happened.
In hindsight, though, I shouldn't have did it like that, though. I shouldn't have.
Why you say that?
Because it was a better way to go. But like the lady said, I should have just called them and told them what was going on.
I figure my whole deal is I'm very litigious. Would have shoot the fuck out their asses. I would have set his ass up and sued him.
That's what I should have did.
I would have set his ass up.
But by me blowing up the way I did.
But the problem I have with a lot of companies is that you can't do any videotaping. Or do any audio taping on their floor, right? You can't bring your phone in and tape this piece of shit saying that shit to you and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to HR with this, and you're gonna lose your job because he lost his job because what he's doing is discrimination for no other reason than he feel like he can pick on you because you're a temp.
Because I'm a temp
and you black. But the fact of the matter is most people who are coming in taking those temp positions, but white dude ain't gonna come in and take no fucking temp position, right? He's gonna come in. He's gonna want to be hired on when the time comes, because he's going to come in, even if he's a temp, because of whatever situation, he's still going to know what the hire on date is, and he's going to force the company to hire him on, so because he can get his benefits, and they're going to do it. They're going to.
They came to me and asked me about 2 weeks before I blew up on them. They asked me. They said right around the time I gave them the 2 week notice. It was like days apart, but they came and asked me to. Shout out to Tony over there working at that plant. Those who know, those who don't know. But Tony's a good dude. Tony came to me and he asked me. He said, man, do you want to get hired on? He's like, I want to hire you on, man. You're a hard worker. I like the way you work. I like your work ethic. I said, nah, Tony, it's some other stuff going on here. Plus, I got a better job opportunity. It pays a little bit more, and it's not this kind of work. You know what I'm saying? It's the kind of work that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So because I like doing floors. And he was like, all right, man. He said, man, if you ever need a job, though, if something don't work out right for you, just come back to me. You know what I'm saying? I got you. You can get hired on anytime. So I had the opportunity to get hired on, but I chose not to because that hat situation was going on at the same time that I was getting this new other job.
Yeah, the thing about it is the conversation initially started, and where I was going is the background checks in general, because Sean was making the issue has always been with him his background checks, and I've been fortunate to be able to maneuver through a lot of background check, but I did do some research on backgrounds, and the company, this HireRight, is a company that does background checks, and they basically, because Sean's issue was that he was under the understanding that the fact that you should only be able to go back so far. 7 to 10 years. Some companies go back 7, some companies go back 10, but it should be a limited amount of time. And anything after that, even if it's, no matter what it is, because that's only as far as they go back, they should only be able to see that. And he was like, does the company pull backgrounds all the way back? So whatever you have, say, in your adulthood, you know, 30 years ago, is the company seeing that and they're utilizing that to scrub. And when I did my just basic research, the company charges a flat fee if I wanted to do a background check, and they only go back so far, which is 7 years. And they say, they claim that they do background check, which is criminal, employment check, and an education check. They do that. It's a fee, and if you want anything more, say if you wanted to know, the Social Security check comes along with it. So they check your Social Security money. They do this terror watch list check, which was kind of like, what the so they have all this stuff within it, and then they submit, I guess you know, it's like a $79, $99, $80 is the most extensive that you can get from them. I'm sure you can get more based on the company size and stuff like that. You probably could, you know, put together something. But this is like, if it's just me, a small company coming up saying, hey, I want to do a background check on all my employees, $80 to get me your information sent over to me, and it would have a lot of your personal information.
Before I even started applying for jobs, when I first got out, I had this young lady that I know. She knows how to do background checks just from her cell phone. And she did one on me, and a DUI popped up, a domestic disturbance popped up, but none of the major felonies that I had showed up.
That's the problem, because like, so I can be as a person, I can go on any of these websites and pull backgrounds.
Yeah, it was free for her to do it,
but
she just did it.
And it's not accurate, right? As a company, their whole, this HireRight marketing tool is the fact that because of legalities, federal, state, you can't bring somebody onto your team and have them have questionable marks in their background that you don't know about. Right. So it's just based. So with Sean's situation, or the conversation that he's having and dealing with the background check, it was with him. It's like, well, if they say, if I go work at this particular place, I sign out on the line, and an HR tells me, don't worry about it because your conviction was 2010. We only go back 7 years. We're not even going to see your conviction. because we only go back 7 years. Anything after that, don't worry about it. Is that true or is that false?
That could be true because I haven't been in trouble in over 11 years.
Right, but his child position has always been if the background check, say if I went to Hire Right based on their advertisement said they only go back 7 years. But when as an HR said, well, you know what?
But every company is different.
You go back 7 years, but we want 10 years.
Yeah, but every company is different though. Because you got all these different agencies that do background checks, right? You got one called Orange Tree, you got one called this, one called that. Well, the background check, like I told you before, the background check I did to get this apartment came back nothing. The background check that I did to get my job came back nothing. The background check that I applied for to get the job to work here to be the caretaker at this apartment, it came back. But it was more extensive. I had to go down to the police department and get fingerprinted and get them a copy of the fingerprint card. So maybe that was the difference. Yeah, everything showed up when I did that one.
And I'm saying it has to be some form of cutoff. And then after that, depending on the position. So if you committed a crime that involved murder, and they don't want you to be a caretaker because you have access to people's keys.
I've never committed that kind of crime.
I'm using it as an example. That, like I'm saying, a criteria that they could say, you know what, even if after the 7 years, we'll still be concerned about you being a murderer 50 years ago.
And I called her back, and I told her, I said, you guys really should. I said, y'all should take into consideration the gaps. Because I haven't been in trouble. At this point in time that I did that, it had been about 11 years. It's over 11 years that I've been in trouble.
What you're saying.
And then plus, on top of that, I have no crimes against persons. I have no sex crimes or nothing.
The conversation you're having is the same conversation I was having with Sean. We don't know what's being utilized for or against us. So you don't know. So if you knew, if I told you if I was a caretaker or owner of this place, it's like, listen, it doesn't. If you have anything in your criminal background other than a misdemeanor, you're not qualified for this position. Then you know, don't apply. Right? It don't matter. I don't care what it is. Don't apply. Makes sense. Cool with it. I'm not going to apply. You know, so my deal is the opportunist position, right? So somebody can get a job as a seasonal worker working for Target, but they can't get hired on working for Target. So how am I supposed to live?
Your policy is your policy.
But how am I supposed to live without benefits?
Right.
Health benefits.
Right.
Life insurance. All these things that make a person longevity makes sense.
Pay out of pocket for this and not be able to save and through a health plan.
If I get hurt, I'm screwed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have no life insurance. Something happens to me on the job, I'm screwed. Unless it comes from this temp service, which is going to be meager benefit at best. Your insurance, they might have an insurance.
A little bit of workman's comp, that's it.
Yeah, they might have a life insurance on me, but it's not as much as I would be able to have if I worked for the company. I have no benefits, no, because as a temp worker, I mean, you're starting to see a little bit more of being able to have days off, holidays off, and stuff like that. But still, I want to be part of the company, right? I mean, I'm not saying I want to be part of the company, but there's people who want
the opportunity.
People are getting out and they want to be part of the company. They want to be seasonal workers or temps because that's how they treat you. The same way that dickhead treated you at that job, that's how they treat temporary workers, right? You don't work for the company. He doesn't work for the company. He's basically, we can get rid of him anytime we want to. He's a temp. And they talk like that. They talk like that on the job. They treat you like that. They treat you like a nigga. We don't give a fuck about him. We go out, like you said, we go out for more. So yeah, I mean, so just the conversation piece about just being able to work and background check interests me just because it always sort of affects you. And that's why I say when I get back into why you want to leave this country, well, you go to places like Africa that don't even have background checks, don't even know what background checks are. I can feel more comfortable acclimating myself back into society. I can have a pistol. I feel more like you'll feel more like it's a citizen with a pistol.
Yeah, I mean,
not just your voting rights, but with your pistol.
I would.
With your pistol, because you'll be able to protect your household and your family.
You're right. However, I don't need a pistol.
So what you're saying to me,
I would like to have the opportunity to have a choice.
How you sound to me is a person who could be like, you know what, like in a joint, like
I don't feel like
this is how you sound to me. Like a dude, like in the joint, be like, man, I really don't like Kim Kardashian. I want to go fuck Kim Kardashian. Listen, dude, Kim Kardashian would never even blink your way. Why are you even talking about Kim? You can't talk about something that you really don't want when it's not an option for you, right? Well, if you can have a gun and then you tell me you don't want a gun, then I'll believe you. But when you,
I ain't saying
no. Listen, I'm
just saying I don't have a need for one right now.
No, and I'm telling you that need can't be expressed when you don't have the opportunity to have it. You can't talk about Kim Kardashian not being your girl when she's not even an option. It's never going to happen in this random thought. You're never even going to run into her. So when you talk about not having a gun and not wanting a gun, you have no option. So it's not even in your mind. You can't even be like, there's nothing to think about. Yeah. They've already decided for you. Right. That's what pisses me off. Right. It's like after, and I can say, even a person like you that said, hey, I did my crimes has been discharged by the federal government. Mm-hmm. I have no contractual obligations to them anymore. Mm-hmm. Why can't I have it? So I can't even get my record expunged. But if you were watching that prison or Plantation, the prison, she talked about expungement in the state of New York. Mm-hmm. You got to finish watching that. She goes into it. That's what I'm saying. If you just to chat, she starts talking about like people don't know. They talked about the bail. Mm-hmm. Then they talked about police bribe. Then they went further with it and they talked about expungement of records in the state of New York. But you got to understand, that's what remember I told you that dude about sovereignty, but he was good with talking about expungement. I didn't understand expungement initially. You know, expungement is, so if you get your gun rights back, so say Minnesota, at a particular time, you could request to have your gun rights back to go hunting, right? But that's only countywide. You leave with that gun until, if you have it in Ramsey County, you go into Hennepin County, they're going to arrest your ass. The only way you can total expungement comes from the governor. Now, where's the governor? Remember a long time ago when you were coming up, you heard about clemencies. Mm-hmm. If you looked in the old papers a long time ago, you would see the governor. He had given clemencies to 30, 40, 50. You see
it every 4 years when the president changes.
Now that's a difference. The president pardons. The pardon is a difference than the clemency. Mm-hmm. Governors have the right to state crime. You know, you would be able to get pardoned by the president because you had a federal crime. I would be able to receive clemency by the governor because I had a state crime. Right. They used to do that a long time ago. If you look in the papers, like in the 1920s. Mm-hmm. Like you would look at a paper and you would see a guy who went in who he had 30 years and he did 5 years and the governor gave him clemency. Mm-hmm. What happened to that? Why aren't they doing that? I wrote Minnesota has a board that deals with that because it goes right now. The governor, you have to petition the state and request the state, and then it's a governor, but also because Minnesota has a sentencing board, you can request that they reduce your sentence, all types of stuff. Why isn't my question has always been when it comes to criminal justice, with all these individuals around, with all these politicians around, mayors, governors, council members, with all these individuals who've been over sentenced by this funky ass, raggedy ass state. You understand? Why aren't they utilizing that executive power to remove to alleviate a lot of it? Because they don't give no fuck, dude. It's like they're not utilizing it. When's the last person you heard they got clemency? Why would they give a fuck when it's job security for them? I'm just saying that when it comes down to the system working, like and they we understand that a disproportionate number of African Americans are locked up, the system doesn't work correctly, but yet still the governor is never utilizing his power as governor to correct the situation. He doesn't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. That same way, so this mayor that was running for Minneapolis mayor, he doesn't give a fuck. It's not even one of the conversations he's even having. Don't give no fuck about this shit. Nobody cares about the criminal justice system. That's why I Got Something to Say exists. That's why we're the voice of the voiceless. That's why.
I got something to say. He got something to say. You got something to say. Let's say it.
We back. And I want to thank you guys for supporting us. And I want to thank you guys for looking out for us. And I want this to continue, but I want conversations like this to be part of everyday conversation.
And don't forget to comment in the comment section.
I want this conversation to be about everyday conversations. Like, why aren't we more politically active when it comes to individuals being locked up? Why are we why are we talking about everything like Vernon when he comes on and he starts talking? Why are we so concerned about menthol cigarettes, but we're not concerned about people voting for clemencies, all types of stuff, criminal justice, anything? We worried about menthol cigarettes, and I'm not for or against menthol cigarettes, but I believe a person has a right to do whatever the fuck they want to do, right?
Right.
But I still say, why these Negroes get up here and run and try to push something to eliminate individuals who are in our community trying to make a couple of bucks, but they won't go up there to the prisons and all these other places and push some real reform. Well, I'm not even for reform, but just make some corrections and try to get some of these young black men out of prison so they can actually benefit their communities. That's all I got to say. I got something to say. I keep having something to say. Shut me the fuck up, please.
It is what it is, man. It's true. It's true. This real life. You heard me, bro talk. See, keep it real. Y'all support the thing. All I'm trying to say is why these young cats come into the joint, they get these stretches, they go out there and get these 25, 30 years life sentences. First thing they want to do when they come out of a little joint to show them, you know, how to move and acclimate themselves into prison. When they get to their real joint, first thing they want to do is get their books straight. They want to get their books straight. They want to get on the TV. You know what I'm saying? And they want to go find themselves a punk. You know what I'm saying? People who don't know what a punk is in a joint, it's a male who's a female. You know what I'm saying? He's a female. He's okay with being with another male. You know what I'm saying? So they call them punks in the joint. Some joints, some places call them boys. Somebody say they're a boy or whatever. But up here they call them punks. So the thing about it is there's a couple of different ways that you can look at it. I look at it as like, you might take a dude that's doing, he might be doing life sentences without parole. You know, so he might be in a position where he's like, you know, I'm gonna find me somebody that I'm gonna have a relationship with. I cut all my relationship off of the street. The streets ain't real to me no more. I'm gonna cut myself off the streets, and I'm gonna acclimate myself or deal with my prison life. My prison life is with me going to work, and then I got a little bit of change because I done did a stretch, and I'm gonna take care of this other male. Some males are cool with it. That's why I say people trip me out when they start talking about rapes. People getting raped in prison. It's like, no, it might be. I mean, when I hear about them, but for the most time, if you got a bag in prison, motherfuckers giving up ass. You got a bag, you're getting ass. You know what I'm saying? And there's dudes up in there that's giving it up, and they giving it up for a bag. You know what I'm saying? 120 in prison. What a bag is you can spend. So your max spending in prison, say 150. You can spend 150 a week. So a motherfucker might spend 150 on a bag to get them some ass. And everybody cool with it. You know what I'm saying? And elevate that to a relationship. So people got to misconstrue when I say things like punk. It's like in prison, it's acceptable. It's socially acceptable for a dude to come into the joint and be like that. And he's the most popular dude in the joint because everybody going after him. You shoot out. It's so funny when I first got to St. Cloud, it was a cat called Hollywood. There's two punks, a white one and a black one. It was forget what the white one's name was, but the black one was named Yo-Yo. And it was a cat up there, old school pimp called Hollywood. And he was on flag, and flag in prison is the bottom level. So flag, when you come out on flag, they let all the tears out at a certain time. But if you're on flag, if your cell's on flag, you talk to everybody. So those are the best cells to have because you constantly have people hit your food, whatever. But Hollywood's he's on flag, and he call out Yo-Yo come out. Yo-Yo come out. He got I don't know how he did it, but he got stitches in his head still. He got this long ass hair. He come out, Hollywood's at the cell talking about, you can't mess with my Yo-Yo. I'm like, oh my fucking God, man, this shit is crazy. But it's calm, it's like in prison, you just walk past it because this is how it goes. So support us. I got something to say. Support us. We're the realest on the block. I got something to say. Support us. Instagram, support us. YouTube, support us. Everywhere. Support us. Click, subscribe, like, comment. We here, y'all. Share, we here.
I got something to say.
I got something to say. You recording? I got something to say.
I got something to say.
I got something to say.
Get out of here.
I got something to say.
I got something to say.
I want a cornbread.
Shut me up.
Fuck them niggas.
Shut me up.
Thanks.
Shut me up.